I just got back from Dice Tower East, and here's why I might not go back. Hey folks, welcome to iHeart Board Games. My name is Jesse, and today we're talking about Dice Tower East 2023. Just took place in July, and I've been going to Dice Tower conventions since Dice Tower Con 3. That was at the Doubletree, across the street from the pie place. Does anybody remember that? I want to talk about this Dice Tower Con though. Things I liked, things I didn't like. I want to keep it kind of brief, go topic by topic, and we'll see where that goes. First, let's go into board game acquisition, because when I go to a convention, I like to get new board games. I wait all year for this to find board games on sale or get new board games that I really enjoy. So the things I liked about this convention, they have a virtual flea market, they have Tom's Flea Market, and they also had an in-person general flea market. The existence of that I do enjoy, but let's talk about the dislikes. Tom's Flea Market and the general flea market were held at 7 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Mid-convention, I think that's okay. And then there was No Cool Stuff Inc., which is a frequent sponsor in the past. And every convention I went to with Cool Stuff Inc., they would bring in these ding and dent sales, and people would line up for those and have plenty of games in their bag in case the board game library had an issue, which we'll get into in a second. The board game library is a huge part of any convention, and this one in particular had a nice wide array of choices, some rare gems in there. And I also like there was internet integration where you can check your phone to see if something was checked out, when it was checked out, or if it was actually there. But let's talk about the dislikes. Some of the games were trashed. Every third game or so we'd open, the rules booklet would be in pieces, or the staples are missing. It was rare that we were missing pieces, but just in general the game wasn't in great shape. I remember some dry erase boards having a lot of dark markings on them, as if maybe someone didn't erase them fully, or they're just stained in some sort of way. But rulebooks were the big thing I noticed with that. Another thing is they close at 1 a.m. For me personally, that didn't affect me, but I heard a lot of people complain about that, and one fix they could have done for that is having the virtual flea market and the general flea market be on Wednesday. They were concerned with the vendor hall conflicting with that, so they scheduled them at 9 a.m. But the vendor hall was not open on Wednesday. So if both of those events would have been on Wednesday, get everyone's sales out of the way. Now they have lots of board games available for the rest of the convention in case that board game library is closed. Another thing that was kind of on the dislikes list for me was that they only had mostly one copy of each game. On some of the not hot games, that's fine, but the hot games, there was one I never had access to, Arceus Society, and in fact, it's right here in front of me, because I was kind of upset that I didn't get a chance to play it because it kept getting checked out. So I was like, I guess that's going to be one I buy. And now let's talk about the con as a whole, meaning anything I left out. The space was good. I never felt like I was too close to anyone. There's plenty of walking areas. The hot games, I think, were in a good place for that. And they were available 24 hours. I do want to say that for the people who were complaining about the library being closed. But there weren't that many of them. But they were still there. I like that they put water out 24/7. You can always get good water. It actually it didn't taste like Florida water, and for those who know, Florida water has a taste. So it was non-Florida water, I think. 24 hours of gaming is there, although the library isn't, but that fix I mentioned earlier could fix that. And the hotel is a nice hotel. But that's going to take me to the dislikes because the hotel was expensive. But it was a very nice place. I managed to get the best room I could get. I said, get me as close to that convention hall. So we were first floor, 2 doors down from the exit that walked you across to the convention hall. I didn't like, for the con as a whole, there weren't designers, like board game designers. There were a few, but there weren't enough. And I guess maybe I noticed it more because of the lack of events, which takes me to that. Normally, the convention would host pages of events in the past. This one was a single banner's worth of events. And having those events where the designers are hosting events about their game or they're talking about their design choices, I really missed that. And that also takes me to the next thing that I didn't like about the con is it's a really bad con if you're a new designer. And that's because in the past, it was a great con for a new designer. There were prototype events. There were opportunities to meet people. I got my start in board gaming at DiceTowerCon doing graphic design, and now I do Kickstarter videos. Just from meeting people. If I had started that this year, I don't think I could get into doing anything for board games that way at DiceTowerCon. You weren't allowed to pass out business cards. That was written, which is kind of funny that they had to write that out. And if you had a prototype, you could have it, but you couldn't put up any signage about it, or you couldn't really camp out at a table, which I think that's fine. It's really hard. All the, everything's against you if you're doing that. But I guess they just didn't want to flat out say no. I just wish they had a prototype event. I'm certain someone would have hosted that. But they didn't have that. So to sum up, DiceTowerCon 2023, what was going to be the next big convention of the South, at least that's where I felt it was heading when I last went in 2019. In 2023, it has become a regional convention for East Florida at best. I can't recommend this to anyone driving more than 5 hours or flying in. It's just a great convention if you live in Orlando or the surrounding areas. But I guarantee you there's a convention near you that is on this level of DiceTowerCon, or Dice Tower East, my bad. So the cat left. That means it's the end of the video. Have you been to DiceTowerCon or Dice Tower East? Let me know what you thought of it. And if this is your first time, I wouldn't be surprised if you said it was great, and it was great. It's just not worth the distance for me. That's it. I wish it was in my backyard, but it really isn't. If you've been to any other conventions outside of this, tell me if it's worth the drive. What is worth the drive to you? What do you look for in a board game convention? My name is Jesse, and until next time, the box is closed.